You feel it, don't you? That silent weight pressing against your chest, the unseen barrier that keeps your abundance just out of reach. You've prayed, you've asked, you've worked, and yet something invisible has whispered, not yet. It isn't fate. It isn't lack of worth. It is a single word, a dangerous word. A word so common it slips from your lips without thought, and yet it builds walls where God placed doors. This word is not outside of you. It has lived in your mind, nested in your heart, and hidden in your speech. Every time you utter it, you declare a delay. Every time you believe it, you deny the flow of heaven's provision. And I must tell you this, until you cast this word out of your life, the blessings meant for you will remain waiting, suspended in the unseen. You have been told all your life that wealth is about effort, or luck, or the mercy of others. But wealth, divine wealth, does not answer to the world's rules. It answers to your vibration. It answers to the story you repeat about yourself. It answers to the frequency of faith in your words. You see, every word is a seed. When spoken, it falls into the soil of your subconscious, and there it grows, wrapping its roots into your identity. Say a word of power, and your life blossoms. Say a word of fear, and your life withers. And the word I am speaking of, the most dangerous word, is the word that keeps your blessing on hold. It whispers, someday. It mutters, later. It hides as, I can't, not yet. It is the word of delay. Delay is the thief of your abundance. It tells you, I will prosper, but not today. It convinces you, I will succeed, but after this struggle. It poisons you with a subtle lie, that the blessing is real, but it is always out of reach. And so your mind bows to the future, instead of standing in the power of now. Your spirit accepts postponement, instead of possession. And heaven waits, with hands full, wondering why you keep turning tomorrow into your God. But I came to tell you. Money responds to immediacy. Wealth does not arrive to those who wait. It arrives to those who claim. The universe answers boldness, not hesitation. God's law is simple: what you decree now becomes flesh now. And when you speak words of delay, you tie the hands of your own miracle. Look closely at your life. How many times have you said, I'll start when? How many times have you whispered, one day I'll be rich, one day I'll be free, one day I'll live the life I deserve? And with every one day, you have pushed your blessing into the distance, while the energy of abundance stands at your doorstep waiting to be let in. Child of spirit, understand this: money is not waiting for time. Money is waiting for permission. And permission begins with the tongue. The word of delay has built invisible chains around your prosperity. But today, those chains must break. Today you must learn the holy art of replacing delay with declaration. When you say, I am wealthy now. When you say, I receive abundance now. When you say, my blessing is not someday, my blessing is here, my blessing is today. Heaven rushes to agree with you. The unseen bends to make it so. Opportunities rise like sudden stars. The vibration of wealth sings in your bones, and doors once locked swing open with ease. Do not underestimate this shift. It is not merely positive thinking, it is divine law. The law that Florence Scovel Shinn proclaimed, the law that has echoed from prophets and mystics for ages. Your word is your wand. Your speech is your staff. You summon with sound, you decree with your tongue. And so the word of delay must die, for the word of nundu must live. Take a breath. Let the weight of years fall from your shoulders. All the times you thought you were waiting on God, realize now. God was waiting on you. Waiting for you to stop postponing. Waiting for you to stop excusing. Waiting for you to declare with authority, it is mine, now. For abundance does not dwell in someday. It lives in this moment. It beats in your chest. It flows in your veins. It surrounds you in the unseen, waiting to manifest in the seen. The dangerous word blocks you, but the holy word frees you. And if you are ready, I will show you how to step into this power. The most dangerous word that blocks your money blessing is the word of delay. It sounds harmless when it rolls off your tongue, as though you are simply giving yourself more time, as though you are simply being patient. But in the unseen world, this word is poison. Every time you speak it, you push your good further away, like a boat drifting from the shore. You believe you are being cautious, practical, even wise. But in truth, you are binding yourself with invisible chains. Delay does not appear with thunder or warning. It arrives softly, dressed in excuses, clothed in reasons, and you welcome it without seeing how it robs you. Think of the many moments you have said, "I'll start when I have more money," or "I'll believe when I see the evidence," or "I'll take the step when everything feels secure." In each of those moments, you chose delay. You thought you were postponing action, but what you were really doing was postponing your blessing. Spirit does not flow through hesitation. Money is not attracted to later. The law of attraction answers to urgency, to boldness, to the vibration of now. Delay becomes the wall that you yourself build between you and the very thing you've prayed for. Delay is deceptive because it feels safe. It whispers that waiting is responsible, that tomorrow is better, that abundance will arrive someday in the future when conditions align. But tomorrow never comes. Each sunrise is today, and if you live in delay, you live in a perpetual cycle of pushing your desires out of reach. You do not notice at first, because the world applauds patience, the world praises preparation, but there is a line between wisdom and postponement, and delay thrives in that shadow. The dangerous thing about delay is that it disguises itself as humility. You tell yourself, "I'm not ready yet. Who am I to receive such abundance? I must first prove myself worthy." But this is the lie of delay. Worthiness is not earned by postponing your blessing. Worthiness is claimed by stepping into it now. God did not create you to struggle endlessly until some far-off day when you are finally allowed to prosper. He created you with abundance written into your very being. Delay convinces you that what is already yours must be chased, earned, and waited for. Every "not yet" you speak is like a lock placed on the door of your own treasure chest. Every "later" is a command to the universe to withhold the good that is flowing toward you. And because the universe always agrees with your word, it obeys, it pauses, it waits. The blessings pile up in the unseen, hovering like clouds heavy with rain. But they will not release until you call them into the now. Delay blocks the floodgates. And then you wonder why your field remains dry. Delay also builds habits. When you speak it once, it seems innocent. When you speak it twice, it becomes a pattern. And before long, you have trained your mind to live in the future instead of the present. You become addicted to the idea of someday, comforted by the illusion that you are still moving forward, even though you remain standing still. Delay convinces you that progress is happening, when in truth, nothing has shifted. You are in the same place, only with more time lost. There is a reason delay is dangerous in matters of money. Wealth, like energy, responds to flow. It circulates, it seeks movement. When you delay, you create stagnation. You become like a dam holding back a river, believing you are protecting yourself, when in fact you are cutting yourself off from the very life force that wants to nourish you. Money does not linger in stagnant waters. It moves toward those who are moving. It multiplies in the hands of those who act in faith, not in hesitation. Delay whispers lies about timing. It tells you that the right time is not now, that conditions are not perfect, that you must first fix everything in your life before prosperity can arrive. But the truth is this: conditions will never be perfect. The right time is always now. The seed must be planted when you hold it in your hand, not when the weather forecast promises a perfect season. To wait for flawless conditions is to wait forever. Delay convinces you that the harvest will come, but it never allows you to plant. Understand this: every time you say the word of delay, you are making a decree. You are instructing your subconscious to pause your wealth. You are giving a command to the unseen realm to hold your blessing back. And because your word is law, because your tongue is the key that unlocks or locks your life, it obeys. Heaven bends to your voice, and when your voice speaks delay, heaven waits. Delay is not harmless. Delay is a thief dressed as a friend. It robs quietly, not in dramatic scenes, but in subtle postponements. It steals your years while convincing you that you are being wise. It steals your opportunities while persuading you that you are waiting for the right moment. It steals your blessings while you nod in agreement with its soft lies. And the tragedy is not that delay robs you once. It robs you continuously, as long as you let it stay in your vocabulary, in your thoughts, and in your belief system. Every word you speak is a seed that shapes your reality, and delay plants lack while declaration plants abundance. This is not a poetic idea, it is law. The invisible world is structured to obey vibration, and vibration is carried on sound. The words you speak are not empty, they are instructions. They are commands sent into the soil of your subconscious, and the soil never argues with the seed. It simply accepts, nourishes, and multiplies whatever you plant. If you speak words of delay, you are planting seeds of postponement. If you speak words of declaration, you are planting seeds of manifestation. And because the harvest is inevitable, what grows in your life is always the reflection of what you have been saying. Consider how often you have spoken against your own wealth without even realizing it. I can't afford that. I never have enough. Maybe one day I'll be successful. These phrases may feel small, harmless, but in truth, they are seeds. They fall into your inner ground and sprout into experiences that mirror them. You look at your life and see lack, but lack was not fate. Lack was the harvest of words planted long ago. On the other hand, when you declare boldly, I live in abundance. I am wealthy. Money flows to me with ease. You are planting a different garden. You are setting in motion a harvest of prosperity. Words are containers of energy. They are not neutral, they are creative forces. Each syllable carries a frequency, and the frequency builds form. When you say, I can't, you invite resistance. When you say, I am, you invite identity. When you say, I will, you invite future delay. But when you say, I am now, you invite the power of immediacy, the vibration of the present moment where all creation exists. The soil of the subconscious does not understand time, it only understands command. Delay confuses it, while declaration directs it. Think of the farmer who holds seeds in his hand. If he says, one day, I will plant, his field remains barren. The soil does not respond to intention alone, it responds to action. But if he places the seed in the ground, even the smallest, the law of growth begins to work immediately. In the same way, your words are the seeds, and your subconscious is the field. To keep saying, later, is to keep holding the seed in your palm. To declare, now, is to bury it in the earth where it can grow. Delay plants lack because nothing is truly planted, only postponed. Declaration plants abundance because it activates the law of manifestation immediately. Your words also reveal to the universe what you truly believe about yourself. If you speak with doubt, the universe reads your doubt as a request. If you speak with delay, the universe reads your postponement as a law. If you speak with authority, heaven rushes to agree. This is why Florence Scovel Shinn called words wands. They cast spells, not in fairy tales, but in the everyday shaping of your life. You are enchanting your future every time you open your mouth. The question is not whether your words are powerful. The question is what kind of power they are releasing. The power of lack or the power of abundance. You may not realize how deeply your body, your mind, and your spirit obey your words. Say, I am tired, and your body grows heavier. Say, I am energized, and suddenly strength rises. Say, I am always broke, and your reality rearranges to fulfill that script. Say, I am wealthy now, and new opportunities align with that declaration. This is not coincidence, it is law. The subconscious does not analyze or debate. It accepts and creates according to the language it hears most consistently. When you repeat words of lack, you create grooves in your mind, patterns that keep pulling you into the same experiences. When you replace those grooves with declarations of abundance, you carve new pathways, and those pathways draw new circumstances. Words are magnetic. They are like threads weaving together the unseen fabric of your destiny. If you weave with the thread of delay, you wrap yourself in garments of waiting. If you weave with the thread of declaration, you clothe yourself in garments of wealth. Even silence is not neutral. What you refuse to declare, you still declare by omission. When you keep quiet about your abundance, when you avoid speaking wealth into your life, you are silently agreeing with lack. The ground of the subconscious does not stay empty, it grows whatever is given. If not intentional seeds of abundance, then the weeds of doubt and delay take root. This is why declaration must be constant, bold, and unapologetic. Every day, you must plant words of power, because every day, something is being planted. The difference between lack and abundance is often no more than the difference between two sentences. One says, "I hope it will happen." The other says, "It is mine now." One plants the seed of absence, the other plants the seed of presence. One signals to the universe that you are waiting, the other signals that you are ready. And the universe, like the soil, always obeys. You hold in your mouth the most powerful instrument for wealth creation. It is not your job title, it is not your bank account, it is not even your education. It is your word. Your word calls things forth from the unseen into the seen. Your word directs the flow of energy toward lack or toward plenty. Delay is the word that starves your garden, while declaration is the word that waters it. You do not need to beg for abundance, you need to speak it. You do not need to wait for permission, you need to declare it. Your blessing is not waiting for the future, it is waiting for your voice. Delay whispers, "Someday," and keeps your blessing always out of reach. It is never loud, never forceful, but subtle, like a shadow that follows you without permission. You think you are simply planning, preparing, or being patient, but in truth you are being lulled into a trance. Someday is a mirage that looks real from a distance but vanishes when you approach it. You chase it, but it always runs ahead, keeping your good in a future that never arrives. Someday convinces you that your wealth will come later, your breakthrough will come later, your freedom will come later, and so later becomes the cage that keeps you from living in the abundance God already assigned to you. Someday is the language of hesitation. It sounds harmless because it doesn't say never. It gives you false comfort by promising eventual arrival. But the trick of someday is that it shifts like the horizon. No matter how many steps you take, it stays ahead of you. You can spend years saying, "Someday," and wake up realizing you are still in the same place you began. This is why delay is so dangerous. It disguises itself as hope while secretly operating as denial. You think you are holding on to faith when you say, "Someday." But you are actually agreeing with lack, because you are refusing to claim it now. Every time you say, "Someday," your subconscious receives an instruction to withhold. Your inner world takes that word literally. It arranges your reality to match your command, and so abundance waits in suspension. The spiritual law is clear: life gives you not what you want, but what you declare. If you declare delay, life delivers delay. If you declare someday, life keeps shifting your blessing into a distant day that never comes. Your word is the architect of your experience, and the word, "someday," designs a house you will never enter. Think about how many dreams have been trapped in the cage of someday. People say, "Someday I will start my business, someday I will invest, someday I will change my life." They live under the illusion that someday is safe, that someday buys them time. But someday steals time. It robs the present by handing everything of value to the future. Someday is a thief dressed in kindness, whispering that you can wait, that you are not ready, that tomorrow is better. And while you believe its gentle voice, years pass, opportunities fade, and the blessings meant for today are buried under excuses. Someday is also the enemy of faith. True faith does not live in tomorrow, it lives in now. Faith declares, "I have it already, it is mine today." Faith is immediate. The law of attraction responds to urgency, to present, tense conviction, not to promises of eventual belief. Someday strips faith of its power by pushing it into a distant future. It is like planting a seed, but never watering it, telling yourself, "Someday it will grow," while leaving it in dry soil. Faith demands presence, but someday delays the miracle until it dissolves. The word someday carries a vibration of postponement, and energy responds accordingly. Imagine holding out your hands for rain while saying, "Someday it will fall." The clouds do not move because you have not given the command. But if you declare, "The rain is here," heaven answers. The same is true with wealth. Someday pushes your request into a realm that never materializes, while declaration pulls your blessing into the now. Someday also deceives you by giving you a false sense of progress. You say, "Someday I will be rich," and you feel momentary relief, as though the promise is enough. But nothing has changed. You are still standing still, comforted only by an illusion. Someday is a sedative. It calms you with the hope of future action, while paralyzing you in the present. This is why so many live entire lives waiting for a moment that never arrives. They speak someday into their wealth, someday into their health, someday into their destiny, and someday becomes their whole life story. The tragedy of someday is that it sounds optimistic, but it secretly denies your authority. It tells you that you are not powerful enough to receive now, that you must wait for some external shift before your blessing can arrive. But the truth is that abundance is already here, waiting for your claim. God has not withheld it. The universe has not withheld it. You have withheld it by bowing to someday. The moment you stop giving your power to a future illusion and claim your blessing in the present, the floodgates open. Someday is the subtle agreement with lack that convinces you lack is temporary, when in fact it is self-perpetuated. It keeps you chasing instead of receiving, reaching instead of embodying. You cannot create wealth with someday, because wealth requires presence. Money is an energy of circulation, of movement, of immediacy. It flows to the one who says, "I am ready now, I am abundant now, I am wealthy now." It avoids the one who keeps sending it to a future that never exists. Someday blocks the blessing because it refuses to open the door today. When you look at your own life, ask yourself how many times you have used the word someday to push your blessing out of reach. How many doors could have opened if you had declared no instead of later? How much wealth, how much freedom, how much divine provision has been postponed by that single word? Every time you say it, the law of attraction agrees. Every time you whisper it, heaven holds back at your request. Someday keeps you trapped in waiting, and waiting is the slowest form of denial. Money and blessings respond to immediacy, not hesitation. The flow of abundance is not drawn to those who stand on the edge of the river wondering if they should step in. It moves toward the ones who leap, the ones who claim, the ones who dare to say yes before evidence appears. Hesitation is a signal of doubt, and doubt creates delay. Immediacy is a signal of faith, and faith creates manifestation. The universe is always listening, always reading the energy behind your words and actions. When you move with immediacy, you align yourself with the law of circulation, the law that says what you boldly claim must come to meet you. Blessings have a rhythm, a frequency that vibrates in the present moment. They do not live in the past, and they cannot wait in the future. They vibrate in the now. When you hesitate, you step out of rhythm. You fall out of harmony with the song of abundance. The blessing is singing today, but hesitation makes you deaf to its melody. Immediacy tunes your spirit to that frequency, and suddenly you find yourself in sync with opportunities, resources, and open doors. What seemed far away rushes close, because the law of attraction does not answer to hesitation, it answers to decisive energy. Think about the times in your life when you acted immediately, without waiting for every condition to be perfect. You spoke boldly, you took a step, you moved in faith. And often, what you needed appeared along the way. The resources you feared you lacked showed up once you moved. The help you prayed for met you in the middle. This is the miracle of immediacy. It summons provision that hesitation cannot access. Immediacy signals to the universe that you already trust, and trust pulls the invisible into form. Hesitation, on the other hand, is a silent thief. It keeps you circling the same mountain, analyzing, doubting, rehearsing scenarios that never happen. You think you are being cautious, but in truth you are sending a message. I do not believe it is mine now. And the universe obeys. It waits until you are ready. But readiness is not a condition of the world, it is a condition of your spirit. Readiness is not having every detail in place, it is having a decision in place. Immediacy is the proof of readiness, and readiness is the doorway to wealth. Money in particular responds to urgency. It is not logical, it is energetic. When you treat it as something distant, it stays distant. When you speak of it as something you are moving toward, it keeps moving away. But when you claim it as already present, as already circulating in your life, it rushes to meet you. This is why affirmations that carry the vibration of now are so powerful. Saying, I will be rich, leaves wealth in the future. Saying, I am rich now, plants wealth in the present. And the subconscious does not argue. It begins to rearrange your beliefs, your actions, your choices to match the immediacy of your declaration. Immediacy is not recklessness. It is not acting without wisdom. It is acting with faith that wisdom will appear once you move. The mind always wants to see the entire staircase before taking the first step. Spirit says, take the first step and the staircase will appear beneath your feet. That is the power of immediacy. It triggers divine assistance. Hesitation blocks that assistance, because it refuses to move until it already has proof, and proof never comes before faith. Every blessing that has ever been released into your life responded to a moment of decisiveness. Think of the doors that opened, because you finally said yes. Think of the opportunities that appeared, when you stopped waiting for perfect timing. That is not coincidence. That is law. Blessings are drawn to certainty. They rush toward conviction. They align with the soul that says, it is mine now. Immediacy speaks that language, hesitation does not. There is an urgency written into divine provision. Heaven does not deal in delay, for delay is a human invention. Heaven exists outside of time, where everything is already complete. When you hesitate, you bind yourself to time and postpone what is already yours. When you move with immediacy, you transcend time and step into the eternal now where blessings live. That is why some receive quickly while others wait years. The difference is not worthiness, but immediacy. The blessing responds to who is willing to claim it now. Hesitation often disguises itself as preparation. You tell yourself you are getting ready, when in truth you are postponing. Preparation without declaration becomes procrastination. But immediacy is preparation wrapped in faith. When you declare now, you prepare as you go, and doors open while you are still walking toward them. The provision arrives in motion, not in stillness. Money, opportunities, relationships, health, all forms of blessing, are drawn to the vibration of decisiveness. The moment you hesitate, the vibration weakens. The blessing pauses, because it mirrors your own pause. The moment you move, the vibration strengthens. The blessing accelerates, because it mirrors your movement. This is why the word, now, carries such power. It signals readiness, authority, possession. It tells the universe that you have decided, and once you decide, creation must obey. Immediacy is the bridge between desire and manifestation. Desire without immediacy becomes longing. Longing is passive, it waits, it hopes, it postpones. But immediacy transforms longing into claiming. It takes desire out of the realm of someday and pulls it into today. Every time you say, now, you close the gap. Every time you declare, I already have, you magnetize the blessing. Every time you hesitate, you widen the gap again. This is the cycle many live in, stepping forward, then stepping back, never realizing that it is not God holding their blessing away, but their own hesitation. Replacing delay with no declarations unlocks divine flow. I am wealthy now, I receive abundance now. This is the secret key that shifts everything, because the power of manifestation lives only in the present moment. The universe does not respond to someday. It does not respond to later. It does not respond to when the conditions are right. It responds to now. When you say, I am wealthy now, you are not pretending. You are aligning with the reality that already exists in the unseen. You are tuning your spirit to the frequency of abundance, and in that tuning, the physical must follow. The declaration pulls what was invisible into visibility, because words are magnets and none do, declarations are the strongest magnets of all. When you speak wealth as a present reality, you bypass the trap of delay. Delay says, I will be, but declaration says, I am. The difference may appear small, but spiritually it is everything. I will be commands the universe to keep your blessing in the future, forever unreachable. I am commands the universe to deliver it into your experience today. This is why affirmations fail for so many people. They speak them as promises instead of realities. They keep saying, I will, never realizing that, I will, is another form of delay. The law of attraction does not answer future tense, it answers present tense. Your subconscious mind holds the power to create, but it only understands the language of now. If you say, I will be rich, your subconscious does not recognize that as reality, it hears it as postponement. But when you say, I am rich now, your subconscious immediately accepts it as truth and begins rearranging your beliefs, your energy, your actions to match. This is why no-go declarations are so powerful. They reprogram the inner world to manifest the outer world. You cannot experience wealth outside until you have spoken wealth inside. There is also authority in declaring in the present. When you say, I am wealthy now, you are not begging, you are commanding. You are speaking as a creator, not as a servant of circumstance. Circumstance says, wait until the evidence appears. Spirit says, speak, and the evidence will appear. Nundo, declarations are acts of spiritual authority. They are decrees. They remind your soul of its divine position, its rightful inheritance. You are not asking life for scraps, you are announcing what is already written for you. Imagine a river dammed by stones of hesitation and delay. Water collects behind it, pressure builds, and yet the flow is blocked. The water is there, waiting, ready, but it cannot move until something shifts. This is how your blessings are. They are already gathered, already pressing against the unseen, but the stones of delay hold them back. No, declarations are the hammer that breaks the dam. When you say, I receive abundance now, the stones crack, the water bursts forth, and the divine flow begins to flood your life. Delay was the only thing holding it back, and declaration was the only thing needed to release it. The word, now, carries a vibration that cannot be ignored. It is immediate, it is urgent, it is alive. When you speak it, you awaken your spirit. You stir the energy around you. You call into existence that which has been waiting for your command. Now is not just a time, it is a frequency, and it is the only frequency creation answers to. The past is memory, the future is imagination, but now is creation. That is why God always speaks in the present tense. I am that I am. Not, I was. Not, I will be. The divine language is always now, and when you speak it, you align yourself with divine order. You may feel resistance when you first declare, I am wealthy now. Your mind may argue, pointing at your bank account, your bills, your circumstances. But that resistance is the proof that the old programming of delay is being challenged. You are not lying when you say, I am wealthy now. You are speaking truth from the unseen realm, truth that is more permanent than the temporary illusion of lack. Circumstances are mirrors reflecting past words and beliefs, but Nundu declarations plant new seeds that will grow into new reflections. Every declaration you make is a key that unlocks a door. I am wealthy now opens the door to opportunities. I receive abundance now opens the door to unexpected provision. I live in prosperity now opens the door to creative ideas, divine connections, and streams of income that were always there but hidden by delay. The moment you declare, doors begin to swing open because the energy shifts. You are no longer waiting, you are claiming. You are no longer postponing, you are possessing. It is not enough to think abundance, you must speak it. Thought is the seed, but speech is the planting. Until the words leave your mouth, the seed has not entered the soil. This is why declaration is so essential. When you declare, you activate. When you declare, you give permission. When you declare, you take ownership. Delay keeps the seed in your hand, declaration plants it in the ground, and once planted, it must grow, for the law of growth cannot be broken. Numbu, declarations also shift your identity. When you say, I am wealthy now, you begin to see yourself as wealthy. You begin to carry yourself differently, think differently, act differently. And the world mirrors that shift back to you. People treat you differently, opportunities recognize you differently, money responds differently, because identity is magnetic. You cannot attract wealth while speaking as though you are still poor. You must become wealth in word before you become wealth in form. I am is the language of identity, and when you attach it to wealth, you merge with it. Delay weakens the vibration of desire, but declaration strengthens it. Delay leaves blessings suspended, but declaration releases them. Delay denies your authority, but declaration reclaims it. When you speak with immediacy, when you anchor your words in the power of now, you open the channel for divine flow. You open the channel for money to circulate, for blessings to unfold, for opportunities to find you. You shift from waiting to receiving, from hoping to having, from postponing to possessing. God has never been waiting to bless you. He has been waiting for you to stop postponing and to claim what is already yours. This truth shakes the foundation of everything you have been taught about timing, about worthiness, about destiny. For so long you believed that heaven was holding your blessing back, testing you, watching you, making you prove yourself before releasing abundance. But in reality, the delay has never been from God. The delay has been from you. You have been standing at the door of treasure with the key in your hand, not realizing that the lock was never closed. You have been waiting for permission, when permission was written into your being the day you were created. From the beginning, you were designed to live in overflow. The earth itself is abundant, filled with rivers that never stop flowing, trees that never stop producing, stars that never stop shining. Scarcity is not the nature of creation. Scarcity is learned, spoken, and repeated until it becomes belief. And from that belief, you postpone your own inheritance. God is not withholding. God has already given. The scripture says all things are yours. Not someday, not when you are perfect, not when you have earned it. All things are yours now. The only barrier is whether you will claim what has already been poured out. Think about how often you have prayed for blessings, as if God were reluctant. You pleaded, you begged, you bargained, believing that if you said the right words, if you worked hard enough, if you waited long enough, then the heavens would finally open. But the heavens were already open. The abundance was already flowing. It was not a matter of convincing God. It was a matter of convincing yourself. You thought God was delaying, but God was only mirroring your own delay. Heaven echoes your decree. When you say, later, heaven agrees. When you say, now, heaven rushes to align. This is why Florence Scovel Shinn and so many spiritual teachers have insisted that your word is law. The law is not outside of you, it is within you. When you declare lack, lack manifests. When you declare abundance, abundance manifests. God has given you dominion, but dominion works through decree. The delay has always been a result of your agreement with hesitation. The moment you withdraw that agreement and replace it with bold declaration, the blessing that seemed far suddenly appears close. God is not testing you with lack. Lack is not holy. Struggle is not sacred. They are illusions born of delayed speech and delayed belief. The divine plan is not endless toil, but effortless flow. Yet, because you believed that waiting was noble, because you thought patience meant postponement, you trained your own spirit to hold back. But divine patience does not mean delay, it means trust. Trust that what is spoken is already done. Trust that what is declared is already finished. God has always been waiting for you to step into that trust, to stop begging for what has already been given, and to begin possessing it with authority. Look at the story of creation. God did not say, "Someday let there be light." He did not postpone the act of forming the world. He spoke, "Let there be," and it was so. That is divine order. That is divine immediacy. You were made in that image, given that same creative power, and yet you have used it to delay instead of to declare. You say, someday I will prosper, someday I will heal, someday I will rise, and heaven, honoring your word, holds it in someday. But when you shift your language to, I prosper now, I heal now, I rise now, the same creative law that formed the universe begins to form your reality. God has been waiting, not to decide if you are worthy, but to hear you agree with His abundance. Every blessing that feels delayed is actually present, hovering in the unseen, pressing against the veil of your hesitation. It longs to break through, but it cannot violate your decree. Your word opens the gate, your agreement allows the flow. God has already prepared the table, but you must sit and eat. The invitation is eternal, the feast is ready, but if you keep saying, later, you will starve at the edge of plenty. The shift happens when you realize that you are not waiting on God, but God is waiting on you to pick up your fork and receive. This is why you must examine every place in your life where you are still postponing, every area where you say, when the time is right, when I am ready, when the opportunity comes. Those phrases are not humility, they are hidden agreements with lack. God has already declared you ready. The time is right the moment you speak it so. Opportunity is not something you wait for, it is something you create with your decree. The flow of divine abundance is always present, always available, like an ocean lapping at the shore of your life. But if you keep standing back, waiting for the waves to come closer, you will never feel the water. You must step in, you must declare, you must align with the truth that it is already yours. God is not delaying your blessing because delay is not in His nature. Delay is human, born of fear, born of doubt, born of words that weaken your authority. God operates in the eternal now, and in that now everything is already complete. When you align your words with that eternal now, you step into completion. You stop waiting for blessing and begin walking in blessing. You stop praying as though you are empty and begin declaring as though you are full. You stop postponing and start possessing. And in that moment of possession, you see clearly that God was never holding back. God was never waiting for time to align. God was waiting for you to believe, to speak, to step into the inheritance that has been waiting for you from the beginning.